Live from Lhasa, this is our last installment of special broadcast Inside Tibet. Well, throughout the week, we've been bringing you up close to Tibet and telling you stories of the people. And today, we will meet some young Tibetans and talk about their aspirations and dreams. Already is halfway through the Shantung Festival on Saturday. Across the Tibetan plateau, people will gather to observe a horse-racing festival. It is a grand day for millions of Tibetans, and they are now getting prepared. Our reporter Han Peng visited one horse-racing family and has the following report.
On the roof of the road, the lake water is ice cold. But these horses seem to be adjusting quite well. For Tibetans, it's a way to share their intimacy with their horses. Even small children join this special ritual. The relations between human and animals are cultivated from a very young age. For them, it's an issue of faith and worship of nature's best gift on the plateau.
We believe Tibetan horses are divine creatures, and a bath before the race can help wash away the qi inside their bodies so that they can perform better on the track.
But it's not just about winning the trophy. In the mountainous areas of northern Tibet, the natural environment is harsh. Temperatures are low and the air is thin. People can't live without horses. They are a critical means of transportation, and together they battle the nature on the high-altitude plateau.
We treat our horse like a member of our family. Throughout the years, he has done so much for us. I hope he can win the race tomorrow. It's not a glory for us, it's his glory.
On the Tibetan plateau, most livestock stays overnight at outdoors on the grassland. But horses enjoy a privilege of living with local residents at their homes. And Siren has made a whole album devoted to his horse. He proudly showed us the photos of his horse winning races.
This is the photo of my horse winning 7th place across the region, but actually he was number 5. The referee got it wrong.
This year, the sophisticated horse rider has decided to send his grandson to the race. For years, Siren has been teaching him the secret of mastering the skill of horse racing. His grandson may stand a smaller chance of winning the trophy, but he has a bigger chance of passing down his lifelong friendship and appreciation for the horse to the next generation.
Though I don't ride the horse very well, I grew up with him. We're already very close friends. I hope we can win.
You are now joining me on the highest places on the planet inhabited by human beings. 4,500 meters above the sea level, people believe that this place is closer to heaven. And those horses, as they believe, have come down all the way from the sky, and they want to use this special festival to celebrate the glory of this amazing creator on this amazing landscape. Han Peng, CCTV, Nachi, Tibet.
Well, good luck to them. Well, for over 2 decades, Chinese inland provinces have sponsored a huge number of Tibetan students to study. It has been a way for these hardworking children to get an education, something their families couldn't afford. But most of the students choose to come back after graduation. Our reporter Han Bin finds out what is special about Tibet that draws them back.
Safe, S-A-F-E, 安全是什么？
A creative way of learning English using concepts from Western countries. The teacher, Tibetan Norbu Zhuangdao, named this course Treasure Hunt. Although it's just been open for a month, nearly 200 local Tibetans have already signed up. Studying in various cities in China.
If you feel like there are a lot of possibilities, you become more and more confident. When you become a confident person, you know, you can do a lot of things. So it's an important reason why I want to come back is I feel home, you know, like here, because I love my culture, like in Tibet. Because in different time, I can visit different monasteries. People have, you know, like a spiritual pursuit more than elsewhere. And then we would like to share, you know, that's That's really cool about here.
23-year-old Dampa Dorji is helping Drumdal during his vacation. Dorji is currently studying at a university in Shanghai.
I get high educated, and I have a lot of opportunities to come back to help more people in Lhasa. Tibet needs us. Tibet is waiting for us to make contribution to Tibet.
To promote the Tibetan language, Drumdal has started an online course for foreigners.
And that lesson is teaching you how to say, I love you. We say like a nga rang la gagidu. And then you can listen to the audio.
Actually, in Tibet, we don't really say that. That is nga rang la gagidu.
China has been sending Tibetan students to study outside the autonomous region since 1985. Training more professionals for the once isolated plateau is a way to boost Tibet's development and their own. And most students choose to come back after graduation.
Look, you can
Tibet
see
is changing,
that,
along with the rest of the world. Drumdal says today's Lhasa has more people, more cars, and more choices. He believes such changes are inevitable.
Is it a positive or negative? It depends on how I use this change. If I use the change well, this is a positive. That is something what I always believe. A language is very, very important. Because the language carries culture or traditions. If Tibetan people don't speak Tibetan, then the culture is gone, definitely.
Drumdal is doing what he can to preserve the unique culture. He's found his true value in his calling. Drumdal says doing good and making people happy is the core philosophy of Tibetan beliefs. And he feels at home with who he is and where he comes from. CCTV in Lhasa.
And now Norbu Drumdal is in our studio to talk about his dreams and aspirations. Well, thanks for joining us, Drumdal.
It's my pleasure.
You've been traveling around the world and you speak foreign languages, but why did you choose to come back to Tibet to teach?
Actually, in English we say like east and west, home is best. And the most important reason I want to come back to Tibet is because, you know, it's my home. You know, like my parents, my friends, and everybody's here. On the other hand, there is more opportunity and there is more possibilities here. So with these two things, why don't I come back to Tibet?
And are you happy where you are now, being
Absolutely.
a teacher in Tibet?
Absolutely. Like, I'm more than happy. Happier than you can imagine.
And tell us, what are those changes that you've seen on this land and to this people?
You know, like for me and like my family, a lot of people had the opportunity to receive the better education. And then me, I learned how to speak like Chinese. Even I speak dialects, Chinese different dialects, and I learned to speak English. And then while I learn Chinese, I can talk with more people. That's one thing. On the other hand, after I learn English, I feel the world is even bigger. There is more possibility and opportunities. So I really feel like it's great to receive a better education. And then right after I came back to Tibet, I really found there's so many things I can do here. There's so many possibilities. I can, you know, in China now it's popular to talk about China dream. And me, myself, I have my own dream. I want to start up my own school. Probably like, you know, maybe in Beijing we have a school called a Xindongfang, like a New Oriental. Okay. And probably I want to make something like that in Tibet. I think that's really possible.
And what do you expect your students to become in another decade, say?
Another decade, I really wish my students can, Tibet is no longer isolated from the outside world. I really wish my students can feel like I can do this, I can do that. They can be brave, they can think, they can do. I really hope they can put what they think into action and make another like a beautiful time for themselves.
You're a great doer yourself, and good luck
Thank you.
in your career.
Thank you so much.
While Tibet may seem like a distant and inaccessible land to outsiders, while still its beauty and mystery keep drawing people in, and some of them even stay. Our reporter Wang Mamang talks to two ladies who have become part of Tibet.
Looking carefully at each stroke she makes. Anna Yesha has been learning tanka painting for a year and a half. She was born and raised in the United States. Her mother is Tibetan and her father American. But family ties are not the only thing that keep her coming. She's deeply fascinated by this art form, spending a year to study at Tibet University and training in her uncle's tanka shop.
I find that it suits me very well because I'm a perfectionist, and tanka painting has a very traditional method, so you have to follow it perfectly. I found it very peaceful, and it's like meditating when you paint.
Anna is fluent in Tibetan. She says she loves Tibetan people because they're so happy and giving. She says all the time she spent here has made her who she is today.
Well, when I'm here, I feel complete. When I'm in America, I feel like there's something missing. But when I'm here, I just feel like there's nothing wrong.
People connect and identify with Tibet in so many ways. There's a long list of reasons and plenty of pictures to draw people in. But once here, they gradually build their own perceptions. Sometimes they discover a passion, and sometimes they find love. But whatever the reason to come, there's always a better reason to stay.
Makiami is a hot tourist spot in Lhasa. For 16 years, it's developed from a local restaurant to a corporation promoting Tibetan culture. Its history is also the love story of the owners. Mu Xianghui met her Tibetan husband in Beijing when he was trying to open a branch. She then decided to see Lhasa for herself.
When I first came, I was overwhelmed. I've never been to this close to the sky, nor have I been to any place this pure. I fell in love with Tibet right away.
Now the couple travel between Beijing and Lhasa to run their business. And Mu feels she's part of Tibet. It's another place she calls home.
Love, the beautiful landscape, and the Tibetan culture are what made her stay.
People who come leave their notes in these books. The true charm of Tibet can only be felt in person. Wang Mengmang, CCTV, Lhasa, Tibet.
And now we have my colleague Wang Mengmang here in the studio with me. Well, Mengmang, you've been traveling to Tibet several times, 5 times to be exact. So what is your impression this time? Anything different?
Well, I think Tibet fascinates not only the eyes, but also the heart. There's so many things to see and to feel here. And a lot of the people will slow down to try to appreciate and understand the culture here. For instance, when you see pilgrims walking long distance, several months sometimes, on their hands and knees to come to Lhasa, their spiritual devotion is overwhelming. And I think that's the amazing part about this embracing and inclusive Tibetan Buddhist culture. And I think that the biggest impact comes when you leave this place. Like every time when I'm back to Beijing, I see and look out on the street, I see pictures of the monasteries overlapping with skyscrapers and also monks walking together with pedestrians. So that's how lasting Tibet's charm can have on the way we look at things.
Well, Tibet has become a cultural magnet to the rest of the world. Many people have chosen to come to Tibet and even stay, as you explained in your story. So what exactly is the appeal of this place and why people are drawn in?
Well, so many people are here because Tibet can be therapeutic, it can be inspiring, and sometimes it can be simply relaxing. So a lot of people are here for different reasons, and there's always a long story behind everyone who's here to spend a couple of months to travel and visit Tibet. For example, last night I talked to some street vendors, and they are here for several months and years to rethink about their own lives. Some of them used to have pretty decent jobs, well paid, but they wanted something else. So it's about what you're willing to give up to exchange for something you love. I talked to one of the street vendors. He printed off some postcards from the pictures that he's taken during his travels. And 4 cards for 10 yuan, so that's pretty cheap. But he says it's not about money, it's about sharing his experiences with others. Obviously, he's not making a lot of money, but he says, he joked that I'm still saving some money to get married.
Well,
so I think the journey to Tibet is a process of self-discovery.
It is a place to refill and restart something.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mengmang.
My pleasure.
You're now watching our special program of China 24 Inside Tibet. We'll be back in a minute. And we are joined by another correspondent of ours, Han Bin. Han Bin, you've been visiting this place so many times, and every time is a different mission. But what strikes you most?
I think what is different of Inside Tibet this time is that we did a lot of stories about the ordinary Tibetan people, how they think about the changes and what they want to preserve in their homeland. So we get deep into their lives, and behind each story, there's another story of mutual understanding and friendship. So
My Tibetan name is Jashi Pingso. I grew up in Lhasa. My impression of Lhasa is that it's a city able to bring people a sense of peace and belonging. It's true that Lhasa has changed in many aspects. For example, its architecture, atmosphere, and so on. But people still live a simple and peaceful lifestyle. Tibet is an inclusive place. Buddhism is an inclusive religion. It's the right place for creating folk music. But personally, I like rock and roll. I want to do both and see where that takes me. I came back to Lhasa in May 2012 and took over this bar. Because it's located on an ancient street, I decided to call it Old Street Bar. I hope my bar can help promote the culture of Lhasa and not just make money. I love live shows. I think Tibet is a great place for creating music. There's a sense of roots here, and music is about finding your roots. We want to try something new, but we also hope to keep something we already hold. But that something can only be felt by the heart. In 1998, I went outside Tibet for junior high school. There, I came into contact with more people, diverse cultures, and massive information. And as a result, more music elements. I'm a curious person and eager to learn. Buddhism was a big part of my childhood. What I learned about the attitudes toward life and faith from my ancestors took hold in me and can't easily be changed. In the past, music was my dream. Now music is a part of my life, the most important part. In the future, I want to focus on Tibetan music and go on the road throughout the country.
What an amazing story over there. And luckily we have the singer and his drummer with us in the studio. That's Ping Cui and Xiaobo. So Ping Cui, you are a Tibetan. You traveled elsewhere in China, but you still come back to Tibet to play music. Why come back to Tibet to play music?
It's Tibetan. Lhasa is my home, and music is just like it's my lifestyle. Yes, I love it. It's rock and roll, blues, and Tibetan music. It's everything. So I like it playing.
And would you please share some of your music? What is the song you're going to play for us tonight?
This song name is Listen to Me.
Okay, we're going to listen to you then.
Okay.
Thank you. And over the past few weeks, CCTV has been traveling all over Tibet, the roof of the world. We came as Tibetans celebrate one of their most sacred days of the year, the Shantung Festival, which is a time for Tibetans to recollect their lives and reflect on their faith. Well, we looked into their lives, their religion, their pursuits, their frustrations, and most important of all, their hopes for a better future. Along the way, we have seen the charm of this region and learned about the dreams of the people. We've now come to the end of our special broadcast Inside Tibet. I'm Zhou Yue in Lhasa. Thanks for joining us. Tashi Delek from Lhasa.
La page ailleurs c'est dans la tout la séronante cherche pour que l'on a dessine tout la jambe La page ailleurs c'est dans la tout la séronante cherche que l'on a dessine tout la jambe 기기실제와 담기부 말로이 팀송 부중나이를 나이 소라기 기초라부 센센센탈라 둘라 세로난다 셰샤르그 la tout la singi aye